Hello, welcome to a video of my record finds for the month of January 2025. So it's a slow season, but I think I got just enough records to make a short little video. So let's go in chronological order. Let's put this back before we start. Saturday, 18th of January, I went to the record shop in my town. There's only one. A little drive, quite a drive from where I live, but it's in my city. A used record store. He sells new ones as well. It's been in business for decades. Anyway, I went there to get a gift for my dear friend Michi45. But while I was there, I checked for other records, so I got these little other records for myself. 245s, $1 each. No, don't mind the old 50 cents price tag here. Well, let's start with that one. I'll switch to French when it's a French record. La bande originale du feuilleton La chanson de Gédéon. Quand j'étais petit, il y avait ce cartoon-là, Bobino, là, puis peut-être à d'autres émissions. Malheureusement, c'est pas la version qu'on entendait avec le cloc, 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 dans comme une sorte de bruit d'horloge. Cette version-là est nulle. C'est la même tune, mais c'est pas la même version. Mais je suis content de l'avoir pareil. C'est la pochette puis tout. Pour une pièce. L'autre, c'est Un rendez-vous à Montréal de Pierrette Beauchamp et Elisabeth Serenade. Le disque est superbe, en bon état. Avec Pierrette Beauchamp, je sais qu'elle est fun. Fait que j'ai décidé de le prendre. Puis l'orchestre de Georges Tremblay était hot. Avec une pièce chaque. So, childhood TV cartoon, not the same version as heard on TV. This other French-Canadian singer. $1 each. And I saw this one, decided to grab it. Sergio Mendes and Brazil 66, Fool on the Hill. And despite the little bubble in the, you can see here there's some bubbles in the little fold, the crease here. Decided to, and it's only when I looked, somebody on a vinyl group on the internet posted not too long after I bought this, somebody posted about this cover being censored in certain areas. I didn't notice there's a boot there. But just recently, a few days ago, I discovered I should have left it there because you see all this mold here. I didn't see that. God damn it. $5 for that, for a cover full of mold. I will try to clean it, however. It might rub off, but I doubt it very much. Otherwise, I'll put it in a sleeve, a plastic sleeve, to try to protect myself. Record is in great shape. I won't insist. It seems to be like a late 60s pressing. Well, it is a late 60s record. What am I saying? Well, it might be an early 70s pressing. I'm not sure. So these are the record. And as I was paying for these records in cash, I turned my head and I see this on the wall. Oh, well, I decided to buy it because I didn't have it on any support at all. Any media, I mean. Support would be in French. So it's now and then by the Beatles with Love Me Do. $8.99 plus tax, so it cost me $10.34. What sucks about it is because, like most, if not all, recent CDs, the sound is in the red, and the sound isn't. There's so much distortion. It sounds like crap. Well, I'd like to know if there's somebody watching this video and can tell me when these things come out as well on vinyl records. Is the sound as distorted and too loud as on the CD, or do they actually go back onto a lossless media and actually master it correctly for vinyl without distortion, meaning that it would be worth buying a recent recording on vinyl, which I don't do because my theory is that they record everything digitally, and I don't see the point of buying a recording made out of zeros and ones put on vinyl, because the goal for me on vinyl is to have a pure analog sound. Okay, but maybe I'd like to know about this, because the only recent vinyl record I have, if I think about it, would be my Charlie Brown Christmas LP on green vinyl I got for $4 at the flea market in 2024. But the mastering is the same as the 1988 re-release. At that time, they didn't put digital sound in the red, and so but I won't. I looked up just before making this video. I looked up how much the vinyl version of this costs, and it's outrageously expensive. Forget it. Like, I didn't get to a 40,000 record collection by paying outrageous prices. Even that is pretty steep. So that was for the 18th. However, I saw a record and I left it behind because the seller didn't check correctly the information about this record. But it's been on my radar, and well, I'll show it to you and I'll talk while you look at the cover. When I went back the next day, so Sunday 19th of January, to buy this, I finally have, it's about freaking time, what I consider to be the greatest pop rock album of all time, the Beatles' Revolver 14-track version. Because already I have several North American copies. Well, I think they're all Canadian copies based on the US release of the same album, with 3 songs missing that were put a few weeks earlier on Yesterday and Today. So I've been feeling like a fraud for not owning what I consider the best album on vinyl, but it was important for me to have it on a 100% analog support, meaning I wanted to have this 14-track version on a vinyl pressing, not necessarily the original from the 60s, but from before 1987. Correct me if I'm wrong, that would be the year when they finally released the Beatles material on CD, meaning that they also took the same mastering to put on vinyl. So this turned out to be, because I've asked the seller, okay, can you check the mastering number on the record and tell me, look up like what year this copy was released. Oh, he said it was from the 2010s because he used this. No, I thought he was like an expert in that field, but turns out that no, he didn't know how to check it. But I did look at it at the store, and I didn't look too long at the sleeve. I was too excited, and I saw this sign, so I knew it wasn't like, and I flipped it around, looked at, 7 titles right away. I didn't even look at the bottom here. Okay, I looked at the record, and turns out the record is on Parlophone. I should have pulled it out earlier, but trust me on this, it's on Parlophone. The vinyl is rather thin, but it says made in France on the label. Now, any Beatles specialist watching this knows that most, if not all, French releases were on audio. So that's why I wasn't sure. I said, because I'm not familiar with the vinyl texture of records from outside of Canada, you know. So because he looked it up wrong, I left it there, because this was $60, the third most expensive vinyl record I ever bought in my life. Well, I did my homework that night because I couldn't stop thinking about this record, and it turns out it's a 1974 release. In 1974, does it say here? Hayes, yes, the Hayes factory was being restoration or moving, I'm not sure, something like that. And for a while, for a certain number of months in 1972-74, so they commissioned EMI in France to press their releases for them. So this is a British cover, but the record was made in France. The reason it's thin, it's because if you recall, the petroleum crisis hit the world in '73. So they were starting to thin out, make the records thinner. This is why this is a thin record. Look, the record is inside. Okay, and but the quality is there, so I don't mind. And turns out that when England started pressing their own records again, they made them even thinner, apparently, for what I read. Okay, yeah, I decided to go for it, and the value on Discogs is around 25-30 euros. So with the exchange rate I thought $60 was a little bit expensive. However, if I take into account that I had the luxury of spot checking it on a listening station over there at the store, and considering the shipping costs, then I would break even. So I decided to splurge the $60 and call it a day and say, finally I have what I consider to be one of the best pop rock album of all time, Revolver, on vinyl, analog support. Cover is not perfect. There's some lines here. I don't know what those lines are. Very, very faint. There's no holes, thank goodness. A few folds, but this is such a thin laminated cover, so it's normal, but the record is great. I haven't played the whole thing yet. I've only spot checked a few songs. And what scared me at the store the day before, on the 18th, is that since I saw Made in France, I have heard about the fact that French pressings cut the intro of Taxman. So I've checked it, and the intro was there, so I was all confused. I said, this is probably a very recent pressing. So since I wasn't sure it was a pre-1987 record, I left it there, especially since it didn't check correctly the date. But something was wrong in my mind. So I'm glad I did my homework the whole evening, and then the next day I went back and paid my $60 for it. I actually called as soon as he opened to ask him to put it aside for me, and I went after lunch. So I splurged with $60, and while I was there, I've checked a few more records. I picked up one record. Soundtrack of Is Paris Burning? I'd love to see this movie. I have never seen it, but it looks fascinating. With all these stars in there, it's amazing. Like Jean-Paul Belmondo, Charles Boyer, Alain Delon, Orson Welles, Simone Signoret, Anthony Perkins, Yves Montand, Kirk Douglas. Oh my God. However, it's just a regular, soundtrack, but the shrink wrap is still on it. It's in great. I love the Ogilvy's store sticker there. It was $3, and it's going to replace a copy that I have in my collection that bugs me, because I had picked up a clean copy of this record a few decades ago at a charity bazaar. Everything was wonderful. The shrink wrap was also on the other copy. However, my copy that's in the basement, I found it with a line just on the top, a line of mold under the shrink wrap. That bugs me. So now I bought it just to get rid of the other copy and call it a day again, and kept it. So there's $63 that day. Moving forward, I received my first and last purchase on Discogs. I tried it, and I'm not doing it again. Discogs is just a worse version of eBay, because at least on eBay you get photos. On Discogs you don't. You get stock images, but you don't see the actual record you're going to buy. I've been wanting to have I'm a big fan of Dick Van Dyke, okay? I have the complete set of DVD. Well, crap, it's behind this thing. Anyway, it's the Dick Van Dyke Show, all DVDs. Anyway, I love Dick Van Dyke. And I've been wanting to have this record in my collection, and he's 99 years old, reaching hopefully 100 in December. And I was afraid the record might, or when he passes away, the record might jump in interest and might be harder to. It's been on my radar, and decided to check, and I found what was listed as near mint, and I decided let's go for it. But I did ask questions. I wanted to make sure it was the stereo version and not the mono version, and that it was a gatefold, and it is. Oh, I forgot to put it out. Yeah, might as well put it out. Sorry about that. So it is a gatefold, and I read everything. It's very interesting. I don't know if the end is a joke, because this was written by liner notes were by let me see. Darn, I can't remember what it says who wrote. Anyway, as a jack of all trades and arts and a family man, Dick's leisure time is divided among painting, sculpting, shooting home movies, which his son Chris helps edit, racing miniature sports car on a 20-foot track, studying Stan Laurel and Cary Grant movies in his home projection room, sanding, painting, and renovating his new home. This is where I don't know if they're joking or not. Eating every fattening food known to men in order to gain weight, and he finally achieved 160 pounds. So maybe he was underweight, I don't know. He looks normal here to me. So I decided to splurge on it. Sorry, the little paper went on the floor because of the wind, the gatefold wind. So I've asked the man to confirm that it wasn't stereo and it was a gatefold, and he did. And so I splurged with the exchange rate and the expensive shipping, $57.17 Canadian, which would be the fourth most expensive record I ever bought on vinyl record. So yeah, it's an expensive month. Because Revolver is the third most expensive record I ever bought on vinyl, $60. The most expensive is I won't pull it out, but it's the Canadian Let It Be with the book, $100. And the other $100 purchase was a double album of France Gall's greatest hits on a German compilation, 24 tracks. So this would be the fourth most expensive. I did once buy a CD in the early 2000s for $60-something. It's a bad purchase. I won't go into it. But vinyl records, this would be the fourth most expensive record. So I receive it. The record was like it should. It was in its inner sleeve outside of the cover. But then I realized, okay, what's this? This little dent there, a dent, and it's a yellow a little bit here. And then I see, tabarnak, the call. I swore in French Canadian, and there's a 2.5-inch split here. Tabarnak. Flip it over. Stupid two stems there, a little M, a maize E, and whoever stamped this in purple smeared some purple here, here, and here. There's some ring wear here, right across Dick, and here. Is it serious? Well, depends. The problem is I bought this because it said near mint / near mint. Well, it turns out the seller told me, well, the way he phrased it is like, it's my responsibility to ask the sellers if the conditions listed are real or not. Bull crap. Bull crap. You're supposed to tell the truth when you list an item for sale. But I did ask I was trying to stay civil. I'm asking for a symbolic refund. I've explained to him, like, had I known the real condition, would I have bought it? And the answer is no. I would have patiently waited to get a near mint / near mint copy, knowing that to be worth it, because it's so expensive to get a record shipped, which I won't do again. Had I seen it, no, I would have passed. So he did. I've asked for a little symbolic credit at least, so he credited $5, which has turned out to be a credit of $7.16, bringing down the price to $50.01. I received this record on the 24th of January. The payment was done on the 13th of January. The refund of $7.16 Canadian was on the 26th. So the good news is the record, although the original inner sleeve has splits in it, the record, perfect, because he did fuss a little bit in the description about a small hairline or a small scratch that you can't even hear. He's right. It's like a tiny scratch, a scuff, or I don't remember if you can feel it, but I don't hear it. No groove wear whatsoever. Sounds like it's never been played. So at least the record is great, but I'm pissed a little bit about the jacket, and I'm never going to upgrade it unless I find one here, but it will mostly have a big Spartan stamp on it. Stanton is a cartridge brand. So yeah, so that was my first and last purchase on Discogs. Unless I find something I really need, but every time I splurge on a record, not every time, but every other time, I have a 50% success rate when I pay a lot for a record, so I'm sick of that. I buy so many records. I have 40,000 records. I bought over like 100 or 200 records just in 2024 alone. I don't need to splurge on records. I can sleep at night not having every record I want. That said, after this little small rant, let's finish off. I had this earworm or song that grew on me from a song I found on this user on YouTube that plays disco records. And I fell in love with this Canadian 1976 maxi single Montreal disco song by Metal Weeds called Sunshine Love. The 6-minute version, on the other side you have a longer version that's 7 minutes and 30 seconds. This version is better. This is the version that's on YouTube. If you look for Metal Weeds Sunshine Love. I think I'm the only one who left a comment. And it grew on me. It has everything I love in disco. It has beautiful strings. It has like that funky guitar sound. I'd love to know how that's called, but I love that sound. And great bass drum. And it sounds 10 times better on vinyl played on a stereo rather than YouTube. Oh yeah, big difference. So I called the store, same store, and he said yes, he had it. It's $1. So I went there, and while I was there, I got other stuff. So I asked him to let me have it right away. He had put it aside for me, and as you can see, the maxi singles cover has the printed title on it on both sides, okay, and the serial number. On a pile of records, I found this. This is funny. I got this for free. Gave it to me. Didn't know what it was. It's an instruction. The instructions in French for the Lakeside's Track 4 game that I had when I was a kid. So it's a plastic tower with a timer, and you put a card, and when it's your card that passes by, you have to put the cubes in the right shape, and it's the first one who finishes that hits the top and stops the timer, something like that. So I got this for free. I got 3 more records. Yeah, I got this for $1. Greg Diamond disco single Danger, 1979, and the other side is Stand Up and Dance. I was hoping that I don't have this on an album. I have a few all of his single albums. And good news, after I've checked, this is not on any album, so I did something good by buying this. I left another of his albums behind because it was pricey and not very good. It's fun to have a listening station in the store. You can check records before you buy them. So then this I had no idea if I had on vinyl or not because I have the CD. As I'm filming this, I still don't remember if I have it on vinyl or not. But it was $3. Disco Connection, Isaac Hayes Movement. I collect every Isaac Hayes album on both vinyl and CD. So I got this. It has some noise on it, but and obvious covers, ringware. For $3, I thought was reasonable. And then this Bidou and his orchestra, or Bidou and the orchestra, Eastern Man, said I don't think I have this. So I decided to get it. It has Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon, which I have on a 12-inch single. But now I have the album. I've checked it, and I checked a few tracks, and Boogieton was nice. I said, okay, might as well get it. It's clean, it has the shrink wrap, and it's $2. So yeah. And then I got this. I had to take it. I'll pull it out of the sleeve because to show you how clean this 1958 single is. Not a scratch. Oh my god. Like barely any noise on it. Well, this is, and I collect his records, the music of David Seville, The Bird on My Head. Apparently it was, no, I was going to say something, but I think it wasn't quite exact. Anyway, it came out after Witch Doctor. And Hey There Moon, the music of David Seville. And on London Liberty, so that was $1. So those were my record finds for the month of January 2025. Thanks for sticking around until the end, and thanks for watching.